Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting started here. We'll be with you shortly. Good morning, everyone. Getting the server serving, streamer streaming, getting those electrons, moving up to that higher, more excited orbit. All to bring you the best live streaming on the planet. Yeah, I gotta get the word out here. My camera's a little behind again. Anyway, we'll roll with it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another fabulous episode of this show. It's going to be a great day. Got usually it's a slow Thursday. We already got a lot of people in here watching us. Going to get more people to come in too. And also, today is Swamp Creature Day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the premiere episode on DYOR Live of the Swamp Creature podcast, a new offering here on our growing media network here, bringing you the DC Swamp Talk. For those of you not in the United States, Washington, D.C. was built on a swamp. The swamp was drained, and they built our fabulous capital. And that is why when people say they're going to go to Washington and clean things up, they say they're going to drain the swamp. But today, we're going to have a guest, one of the members of the Swamp Creature team, Justin Wallen, will be here to talk about today's episode and introduce himself to our viewers and talk about how their little podcast is going to bring in a whole different subset of viewers and all that. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, a good-looking gentleman over to my right here, Pedro Garcia in the house. Pedro, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. It is a beautiful day, man. I can't complain. Things are real chill where I'm at right now. The market has been moving this morning, so I'm happy about that. And we had a nice little trade that went in the way that I thought it was going to go. And that was fun. And then in addition to that, me and Tom have been talking quite a bit about just how the show is doing and how it's progressing and how we're just branching out in many of our other shows. So it's actually been really cool to see the swamp hands creep out. So I think it's really
what do
cool.
I do with the hands?
I know. What do we do with the hands? I don't know what to do with the hands.
Creeps into Pedro's talk every day. Every day. I'm working on getting the rest of the social media out. Tell everyone what they need to do.
All right, guys. So if you guys don't mind doing us a quick favor, please hit that like, that sub, and subscribe button and share button. What do I do with these hands, bro? I don't know what to do with them. I just every time
put one on the keyboard, one on the mouse, and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Here we go. We'll see if that works, right?
You put it down the front of your pants if it doesn't bother you.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh, you could just feedback to yourself, Pedro.
Feedback. Nice.
That's you, Pedro.
That's not me.
Oh, no, wait. That's our guest. You got to turn echo cancellation on there. I put you on mute, and I'm going to work on your controls there.
All right, there we go. So please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And while you're at it, please send out a comment where you're coming from or where you would like to be. That's always a huge thing. Lets everybody know kind of how we can stalk you guys and send the big bad AI guy there. Wait, he's already there. Call the U.S. government. I meant sorry, no, wrong one. But
Justin, our guest Justin is in the background, and Justin, I think you have something up with your audio. I flipped your noise gate on, but your echo cancellation doesn't seem to be working. Make sure you have the right microphone selected, and that it's on the same platform as your whatever speakers are on. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, while I'm doing a little social media stuff, let's say hi to the usual suspects. Saul is in the house.
What's up, Saul? It's good to have you.
Hello. Crypto Mike is in the house. Crypto Mike, thank you very much for joining us. Go Winnipeg Jets.
There you go.
Got the Crypto OG in the house.
Yes, we
Crypto
do.
OG. Haven't seen the OG in a while. Thanks for joining us. Crypto Mike says Pedro Damas BB in the house. Thank you, BB, for joining us.
It's good to have you guys.
And we got Mr. GSB, the man who donates the zlotys.
Mr. Pinto.
Mr. Pinto, thank you for joining us. GSB is going to be on the show next week, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing a little community outreach with them. They've been good to us in bringing viewers, so we are going to bring their product back to our viewers, to our other viewers. So they're going to be on the show next week. Pedro, next week, I think we're also going to have Patrick Dougherty back.
Nice. Exciting, man.
The attorney for Coinbase and some other projects. They've been in the news a lot. And trying to figure out what to do. Might have to do a little joint panel discussion with the boys from the Swamp Creatures to get this into the into the proper tone of things. AI Alpha Wolf says, "What's up, Swamp Things?"
Oh, that is, I love it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we got a little different time schedule today. Yes, Justin, I saw your note. I think you're all good. We're going to go to talk a little bit about what's coming up with our show. In the past, you've met a fellow swamp creature, Chris Alexander. He's been on the show as a special guest, and as we call it, our Washington bureau chief, even though pretty much he thinks he comes from Baltimore. And not comes from, but and I only know that because he said he watched the big ship drive into the bridge. It's not like I'm doxing anybody. Mentioned that on the air, that there was a ship and a bridge, so that's where I assumed he is. Anyway, you've met him a couple of times. He's provided some expert commentary, and it made us realize that the Washington, D.C. / Wonk Talk discussions that Pedro and I have are good, but they're not quite there as they need to be. And so in discussions with Chris, he said, he just offered it right up and said, hey, how about let's bring in our podcast to your channel? And I thought to myself, that would be a great division of work here and really help the algorithm, bring in some new content, some smart people here, smarter than Pedro and I in these topics.
A lot smarter.
And so we decided, all right, let's get it rolling. And this week, today, right after this show, ladies and gentlemen, expect all of you to, if you leave, you have to come back. You do. It's not going to be on Twitch and Twitter and all those other ones. So if you're watching on YouTube, the end of this show is going to go right into their show in what we call a YouTube raid, just like on Twitch. But that being said, I'm going to bring in our guest here, Justin Wallen, the second half. And Justin, I'm famous for blowing this on the first time.
But we like
and 3, 2, 1, and it should go right about now. Oh, hey, there we go, wow, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Justin, welcome to DYOR Live.
Glad to have you, brother.
Fantastic to be on, gentlemen.
I'm just going to pull your microphone up a little bit here. Justin, as I said before, we've spoken to Chris a number of times. He's been a guest on our show. One of his clients a long time ago reached out to us via their PR people and said, hey, can we have this guy appear on your show? And I was like, let's see. And so I saw some of his some media, and I said, hey, this is a good talk. And then a good idea. And then he came on the show, and I said, hey, that worked out pretty well. And his humor kind of matches mine. which is dry and self-deprecating humor here. But also, we got to talking about things, and he said, "Oh, you need to listen to my podcast that we just started. This was obviously just a couple of weeks ago, and then and get to know Justin." And so I have, obviously, over the past few days, and now here you are on our show to talk about your new show called the Crypto Swamp Creatures Show. So, what's it about?
Well, it's about crypto, but it's in the context of policy. So Christopher and I come from different backgrounds, but we swim in the same murky world of the swamp. We do. Now, it doesn't mean we were born here. We're both California boys, but all went around the nation and to a lesser extent, I guess, the world. If you're Christopher, he has a very interesting background. He's an interesting dude. And aside from a lot of great stories, he's well versed. So he knows the space. And one of the things that we both know is how this world of public policy works, and it's a funny world. And that's what we're trying to talk about is, how crypto intersects with it. We're looking at it from a nonpartisan space. Obviously, every now and then we're going to make fun of people, and that may sound partisan, but everybody gets a fair crack, including ourselves. So that's the idea. It's kind of peel back.
That's true. Pedro and I like to call it edutainment here.
Yes.
We educate people by using a little entertainment. I have another show called Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked, in which I teach people about what has gone wrong in crypto. And as I say, I take people's misfortune in losing their money to laugh with them and say, that was dumb, but in order to teach people. And if you can bring a similar aspect about the Washington, D.C. area and the politics and the general buffoonery that goes on there. And the Washington, D.C. is no different than any other industry. It's no different than Wall Street, no different than the bourbon industry. Because there are things that go on that you just can't believe. And Pedro and I aren't exposed to that. We are only through the news, not through our network of contacts or the people we hang out with. So it's good to bring on another group of people onto the channel here to bring the views, and we hope that that the viewers that you bring and we're able to market this show to, well, let's just say, brings a little bit higher caliber person in the wonk talk than our usual.
Oh God, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, just from the aspect of you can actually look at the undertow, what's actually happening in Washington, and kind of really relate that to crypto and what we're seeing versus me just watching CNN or kind of these other knucklehead, trying to say, oh, read between the lines, whereas you can actually read between the lines, right? So it's a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things about it is neither of us really have a vested interest in the policy necessarily, although there's certainly affinities for the industry of crypto. There's no question about that. We're not apologetic about that, but it's challenging when you're just watching folks on a regular basis on TV, which I do all the time as well, and sometimes they have the misfortune of having my ugly mug on there as well, but what we're trying to do is give a little bit more insight that wouldn't normally be available. And it's kind of a pragmatic approach, right? Because the world is very human. And I know that's kind of a stupid thing to say, but it's really important to remember because most of us as human beings, we engage on something with enthusiasm. And to your point earlier about destroyed rugs, we do it. And this is from the standpoint of, I used to build stuff for a living. I own a manufacturing company and I used to build racing sailboats, and I built my own home. The reality is you do this stuff, you do it once, you screw it up. And if you have the wherewithal, you go back and do it a second time and you screw it up a second time. And then you do it a third time. We're trying to between 1 and 3 for folks so that we can alleviate some of that pain, not all of it. I mean, we're all gonna stub our toe, but that's the goal. And it's actually pretty interesting. I mean, this stuff that goes on in this weird little place called Washington, D.C., which is replicated in every state capital around the nation and obviously every capital around the world. There are ways to get from A to B. It's not as obvious as it seems, but it's actually proven. It's more science than it is art.
Well, I got a question for you. On another show, you mentioned, actually, I believe it's a little nugget from today's show coming up with Ken Cuccinelli.
Cuccinelli.
Yeah, Cuccinelli. I'm not going to give away the discussion here because I want everyone to tune in and be there for it. But you mentioned that your dad was a Reagan appointee. And so you do, while you spent time in sailboats and manufacturing, your father had to have imparted some knowledge about the swamp to you. What kind of one major thing did you take away from your dad about the swamp and how to survive in it?
Don't do what he did. So he's a very prideful man, and as one of the directors of the National Endowment for Humanities, he stood in front of Congress and recommended that it be abolished, which is not a good career move. But this guy is no dummy. He's very well respected. His fingerprints are on a lot of constitutions throughout Latin America. He's just one of those guys, but that's not the way to affect change. It's what we do reflexively, right? When we're annoyed and we see something that seems patently stupid. And there's no shortage of stuff that's patently stupid within large bureaucracies. Of course,
no.
Government, right? By definition. But that's the biggest thing. Don't let your emotions get away from you. And the second that you want to say, you blow up, take a second, think about it. This takes time. It's an iterative process. And just walking up and punching somebody in the nose, whether verbally or really, it ain't going to get you from A to B.
All right, so you have our premiere today. Can you give everyone the 1 minute overview of your talk with Ken to get them interested in sticking around and watching your show?
Yeah, so I mean, Ken Cuccinelli is just an amazing guy with an incredible track record, and he is an extraordinarily active mind. This is in the context of the legal construct of crypto within America and regulation and the effects of regulation or the lack thereof. So crypto is in a really odd and very dangerous space, as you well know, in the States, whereas there's this thing of regulation by enforcement. There are no clear regulations about what crypto or blockchain is. And what that ends up resulting in is a lot of entities end up getting sued by the most powerful entity in the world with limitless pockets and limitless lawyers and the ability to fine you out of existence. It's a very scary environment. And Ken breaks that down in a way that I think very few people can do, and illustrates not only the opportunities, should this get resolved, but the deep, deep risk that we're facing right now, as a community within the crypto industry.
Well, it looks like it's going to be an interesting episode for those of you that do like the wonk talk and then learning how the U.S. government operates in a good way, but also in a bad way. And that's why, as they say, elections have consequences. And for sure, this November is going to be an interesting one because we'll see things change, stay the same, or get worse in the swamp, as they say. Justin, thanks for coming on the show and introducing yourself to our viewers. We look forward to many of our viewers watching the premiere at 2 p.m. Eastern Time here following our show. And before we go, tell us, how often are you going to have new episodes here? Is this a monthly thing, a weekly thing, 10 times a day?
It's going to be several times a week, as far as I understand it. But having just gotten started, we are likely to stub our toes. So don't heave things at us.
Oh, Pedro and I have never done that. No, never.
Never.
But that's the goal. Unfortunately, for good or ill, when Christopher and I get together, we tend to talk a lot and rattle on. And he's an interesting guy. He's well worth listening to. If you don't think I'm interesting, I guarantee you're going to think Christopher's interesting. He's entertaining.
Yeah, this guy I ramble on a lot with too. All of a sudden, we're talking about two or three tangents away, a tangent squared away.
Yes. Sometimes.
Anyway, I know it's time for you to go, and you got a hard stop here. We look forward to watching your show. We will be watching it live, being broadcast, not live, but as a premiere. And so the comment section is going to be active. So if you want to participate in the YouTube comment section, come on in and interact with the viewers. And thank you for coming on the show today, and we will see you again shortly.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure.
Have a good one, brother.
All right, everybody. As it's 3-4 seconds behind here. There we go. Pedro, that was really interesting here. I hope everyone here. Mike Crypto Mike's right away into saying I hope he's met Trudeau and his thoughts. I don't know. It's interesting to learn that he was in the manufacturing business as well. Yeah, I've obviously spent
exactly what
ages in the manufacturing business and can talk about that all day. But Pedro, we've had the talk about what's coming up on the Swamp Creature Show. Let's get into BTC and start talking about that and getting the answers on why this pump happened and which of our viewers took advantage of it. Because Pedro was talking about what yesterday, ladies and gentlemen? That this exact thing would happen.
Yes, absolutely. So let's go ahead and go into this portion here, because I was talking about this, how we could take advantage of, I guess we can go use that. Come on.
And everyone, is Pedro's mic all right? Or is mine too low, or is Pedro's too low? Just give us a sound check, would you? Should have done this earlier, but...
Yeah. Sound check, 1 2 1 2. Here we go. Excuse me, sorry about that. All right, so we talked about some of the stuff that was happening with Bitcoin. Where is it at? Come on. Bitcoin was in a position yesterday. We were coming down into the supply, or into the demand area. And I said what we needed to see was a close above the 20 period moving average, which is sitting right here. And then I had a few supply areas. I had one sitting right here, one that was right here, and I later brought up one that was a 4-hour zone, which was sitting right here, where we started seeing a buzz through. And the reason why I bring this up is, now many of you guys have said, like, I don't expect Bitcoin to continue up. I expect it to come down. But if it is going to continue up, we need to see volume come in, and we need to see it act in certain ways as we see it move up. And lo and behold, we are seeing BTC starting to act in ways that you need to pay attention to. One, the volume is stepping in, as we've talked about this, right? And comparative to over the long period, the volume is stepping in over this past period of just consolidating, right? We're seeing it now step in with more buyers. Again, I'm hesitant because we have not created a new high, right? And we have a local new high. And so I'm like I said, I'm not 100% convinced that we are going to explode from here, primarily because what we're seeing with the presidential election and as what Justin just talked about, an unclear venue of a straightaway that we know we're going to be taken care of, right? So I think crypto is at a junction point here in America. Now, oh, please don't do that. Why is that?
What am I missing here? I was just doing a little outreach here to get
No, it's not even that. I have high memory CPU usage, and I
got the same thing going on here.
How is that possible? I have like hardly anything open. I don't even know why.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the quality of our studio feed, see if that helps a lot.
That's why I'm freezing up. Okay, so you guys can see here that as the market, oh no, that's bad because you can barely see it.
All right, how about I'll average it.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's go into the trade that we had from yesterday. So we talked about the market.
Everyone, pay attention to this, because I didn't listen to Pedro yesterday. Let me phrase that. Pedro, I sort of listened to you. Okay. And I did have a winning trade, but the winning trade meant that I had made 2 cents when I should have made 70 cents. Well, in other words, I made 0.01% when I should have made 6%. I didn't listen to him. And I should have. And it wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't like, oh, I don't think Pedro's right. I was just busy. And I'm not in the trader's mindset of, always keeping an eye on something. I was editing a bunch of stuff, and all I know is that I got back in this morning at this low point here, baby. Not that low point, but right about there. I made it back, so. Oh, no. Sorry, Pedro, to interrupt you there.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Absolutely all right. So we talked about how the trade, we were going to be coming down into this demand area. And we needed to see a couple things for us to really go long. One was a cross into our demand area. And at the time, it was in this level up here before the show started. We start around 12 o'clock right here. So I said, expect it to come down into our area here. And what we need to see is really important is demand wicks coming in. That would be where the buyer wicks, where the market goes down and then it comes back up. And we want to see a few of them to communicate with us really if the market was moving up or going to continue down. And additionally to that, we also wanted to see, in addition to that, this is really important, right? Did we have anything that was going to stop us as we were going to move up? So I said for you guys, look at the 5 minute and just make sure that we don't have any supply wicks or wicks that could be potentially stopping us from continuing up. And sure enough, as we came down into our area, you can see that when we hit our area, this was after the show, that we started putting in demand wicks here. You can see this very clearly. So I actually told Tom right at this level to go ahead and to go long. And that was around 1405. Then from there we hit, and I said to him, your first target, what I want you to do, is from here to here is where we went long.
Do that drawy thing on the map. Draw it so people can see it.
Okay. So I told
That's
Tom,
a technical term, ladies and gentlemen, the drawy thing.
So right here was when I told him to go long. Then in additionally to them, I said, oh, that was not on purpose. Sorry about that. Why is that so thick?
Welcome to everyone watching on X. If you could do us a favor, click through to the broadcast screen and hit the comment button there. There's a chat. Most people don't know this, but on X, if you click through to a video broadcast, there's a chat window comment screen just like YouTube's. And we monitor those and can bring them up on screen. So do that and ask Pedro questions. And you can ask me a question too, but you won't get an answer. That's like Pedro's.
Well, Tom, Tom's learning from me and he's picking it up, and I think he's doing a great job. So absolutely, man. Listen, I wouldn't shoot yourself in the foot here. You also understand from a institutional standpoint, when I sit there and start talking institutionally, buying and selling, how certain things were front run before that person. And so he gets that, and he's able to communicate in a way that I don't necessarily have the, I won't say ability, but just I'm not there yet, right? So in the same sense. So right here is when I told Tom, look, you see this big old volume come in, right? This is where we're looking to go long. So I told him, get in right here and expect this to go up. And I told him, I said, I want to take our first target right here on this 50 period. And I gave him kind of a range, right? Which was going to be right here. And up in this level was literally where we saw buyers. So I said, this isn't the area that I typically would like for it to go. But if you don't get out and we pull back to our area here, okay, this is going to be our area. I said to him, I want you to go, or, to go long again, because at this point we started seeing it come down. And so he, and this area right here is where we're looking to as an area to be purchasing. What is going to trigger us to go long is basically a really simple movement when you have a crossover of the 8 and 20 as it continues up. And then what you do is you put then a stop underneath where you see buyer wicks coming in. So i.e., you can see right here, cross, buyer wick right here, right? But that buyer wick communicates to us that, hey, most likely we're going to see an uptrend right here, along with potential crossover of the 8 and 20. Now, what I'm doing here is it's showing that it's potentially getting some buyers are stepping in, because we're looking to go long, because this is an area of buyers. So sure enough, as we're moving down, we're not putting in any supply wicks. You can see there's no supply wicks here. So to me, that communicates to me that it typically wants to go up, even though it's going down. And every time we start to go down, we start to see buyer wicks come in. You can see here, buyer wick, buyer wicks right there. We see one seller wick in comparative to 2 or 3, 4 buyer wicks. Now, the key point was here, right? And this is where Tom realized, right? Like, oh, wow, it came into exactly what you said it was going to do. We got in around here. We've talked about this. And you want to see it with no wicks coming in. So this is now, I'm showing you guys the trade after the fact. Now we're going to go in. I'm going to show you what I showed Tom originally. I said, Tom, this is what we want to see. Okay. And this is what he wants me to talk about. So I said, this come down into this area right here, I'm expecting us to go first to about right to here, then come back down, find support again, and then see this thing climb up again to the new high and then pull back. And so this was, did you take a picture of it?
I did take a picture of it, Pedro.
Can you show the picture if you don't mind?
Yeah, it'll take me a second, but
as he's looking for
ancient.
it, right? So as he's looking for it, I'll pull up here. So what I said then, I'd expect us to see us come up to the highs of the previous day, primarily because of the buyer areas that we're playing with and the volume coming in, right? Like that was really for me what I was looking for. And the fact we've been talking about this, how we put the local higher low into this trade, right? Like this is one of the things I talked about at the beginning of the week, right? Say, guys, look, we're coming up to that 200 period and we're showing like we're pushing above it. So because of this, right, this is we saw me point this out, boom, 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 right? And I said we're seeing some volume step in and comparative to what we've seen in the past for buyers sitting right in these lower levels. So I said, guys, if we close above that 200 period moving average and we bounce off of the 8 period, we will see an increase of the market to push up into these higher levels. Okay. And so I said, this is what we're looking for. That's what I want to sit there and see. So, okay, there you go. So you
hold on, let me pull it back up here. It's if you're watching the YouTube thing, it's gonna be delayed a little bit. All right, there you go. There's what happens. And literally, if I could overlay the chart, it would pretty much show that exactly. Just the only difference was that it stretched out a little bit in time.
Yeah. So what I was bringing and what I talked about was this, and I think this is really important. And again, this is just simply looking at current buyers and sellers stepping in off of wicks that communicate to me whether we're going to go up or whether we're going to go down, right? And I believe wicks are active buyers and sellers. They are future indicators, not lagging indicators. Most likely which way price will go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Damas strikes again.
No. Oh, bro. No. Yeah. Okay.
It's true.
Just a regular. All right. So
all you chumbalones that didn't take that trade out there, you missed out.
Yeah.
All right, but that was it. He called it. I'm gonna turn it off here, and then look, it. I can't. It went over here. Yep, it did exactly what he said. Zoop.
Actually, somehow must have deleted the other zone here, so it would have been about right here. I don't know why.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dara Lawton in the house, enjoying the mighty Spain over there, and not the
what's up, brother?
Not the hurricane Florida, which some of our other viewers are getting ready to experience.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, there's a big hurricane coming in to the west side of Florida, the Gulf side. Our friend, our show friend, the Crypto Lifer, he recently moved from Massachusetts to Florida. He said, Florida's great. I love it. He had just only visited once. Said, I'm going to move to Sarasota. He's not even in his new house. I think 2 weeks from a rental.
Shut up.
And there's a hurricane coming right at him. And he's famous for streaming every day. And I warned him before he went down there. I said, Florida's not as great as you think. I mean, it's a really nice place. The weather's good, lots to do. I said, but things go bad there quickly, and they have very little support in Florida. It's a low-tax state, which means low services. And so when things go bad, it's bad. And so he might ruin his 10-year streak of streaming every day because of a hurricane.
Oh, no.
Alpha Wolf says, the doctor is on X. Thank you, Doc, for watching.
Nice. Good to have you guys. Definitely good to have you. So we're seeing Bitcoin starting to pick up. You can see how we're playing off of this 8 period and 20 period. So you want to switch between your 15, your 30-minute charts. As soon as we start to break these, okay, then I would expect to see us really start to play off of that 1 hour. You can see the 1 hour has been really playing here. So you need to be paying attention to it. We are coming up to a supply area, which is that 66,947 to the 66,348 area here. Be ready for a pullback. We should see some type of pullback. So with that, again, we want to sit there and see as we are moving up now, as you guys can see here, we're now starting to put in supply waves, which means that the sellers are stepping in. So as we come up into these levels up here, I would expect to see us then find resistance and see it come back down to test these areas here. Now, if we're going to continue up, I want to see volume again like this at this level. Okay. And so with that in particular, you're going to see a doldrum of a little bit right here, but then we'll start to see it pick up to where we'll see then come back and test this area or retest this area. Okay. So be ready for that pullback. You can see here, we have two places potentially where we could stop and see a pullback. Okay. This area right here, boom, to right here. So that area there is a potential pullback. Now, give me 1 second. See the timing. 9. Nah. Let's see you guys have known my bane here, how they move stuff around here. So,
Poor Pedro.
it makes me mad. They make me mad, man. Like they did not need to do it. They did not need to do that. You know what I'm saying? They could have kept crypto trading right for time frames, and they decided not to, which they are poo-poo faces.
Hey, those poo-poo faces.
Poo-poo faces. Or poo-poo people. Anyways, so I'm going to keep it PG here. But this would be kind of the area we could see a pullback into and see another retracement back. This is where we have our 8 period on the 2 hour as well. So we can see it come back down and play off of this area. But I'm really looking more for down in these lower levels here for us to come back, hit. I wish I could have a quick twitch where it goes green, boom, and then find this and then quickly make it go red. And all of a sudden, see this, boom, come back up, pop it,
boom,
find support, start to play up. Then we'll see again this type of volume right up in this level. And then we'll start to see this, boom, dink, bink, potentially from here, or see it come back down. So it all depends on what it wants to do. Okay, that's it in a nutshell, though. Look, what is that? It's an upside down mad upside man. There you go.
In other words, looks like I read that as sell it short till it gets down here, then buy it long.
See this right here? That's actually a sad man here. Then when people ask me, so what type of designs this, or what do they call it? Like Head and Shoulders, what do they call those?
Art Simpson
patterns, trading patterns. Like what type of pattern is what type of trading pattern is this? This is the sad man face right here, right? Looking at volume.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it from the crowd here. How many of you are out there? How many of you are watching? We've had 71 views already today.
Nice,
very nice crowd that has already been with us. A bunch of people came in just for Justin's talk there. Hopefully they'll come back later for the show.
Hopefully. It's good to have them.
But let's hear it from you. You got questions? If you've got a community you want to bring into, as you can see over here from my side here, we've got the 47-minute countdown till we raid the live premiere, not the live broadcast, the premiere, getting to use these extra YouTube features today of the Swamp Creatures show. Interesting guest. I had to edit this show, so I have it in my mind of what they spoke about and all that type of stuff. But the guest is very interesting and explains more in layman's terms, or at least in a manner in which you can understand it, why certain things are securities and why not. And it will give you insight into when you see people that don't understand the market. It'll give you knowledge to help you with insight and to see why politicians speak like they do. And then you'll see the ones that don't get it, including our very own Gary Gensler.
Our friend.
I should have done this.
Who's the Goliath and who is the
Gary Gensler?
Dude, I've got the same sound as Gary Gensler. What's up with that?
Wah, wah, wah. Back to the spacey lo-fi.
And we're gonna keep moving along.
All right, Dr. F. Toki is watching from X. Thank you very much for joining us on X. I appreciate it. The doctor
gotta
is
interrupt
writing.
real quick. I gotta run downstairs, just like I was talking to you about earlier. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right. Pedro's got another delivery that he's got to take care of. Might be some delivery of some knowledge or something like that. But anyway, he'll be back with us in a second. That'll give me an opportunity to talk about what is going on with the topic of our show today, which I thought was pretty interesting, and maybe we can have a quick discussion about it. And that is BlackRock, the Goliath of them all here. And why do I say that? Where did my that's not what I wanted. Live shows, you gotta love them. Anyway, what we're talking about here is BlackRock owning, let me get this number right here. I'm gonna read it, and I'm not gonna try and get new lenses, it's just a big number. 360,000 BTC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 360,000 BTC for $23 billion. Let's think about Satoshi's wallet. It has 1 million BTC in it. The wallet's never moved since the initial block, or second block, or whatever it was. Nothing's happening. It has 1 million and is always thought to be the largest wallet ever. BlackRock isn't that far. They've been accused. This is just in 2024 that they've bought. They could have bought more. These are just what the wallet trackers report. BlackRock is not. They're not a public company. They don't report these things. But 360,000. If they triple that, they just put at the rates today, they just put in another $50 billion, of which they have, and they could beat out Satoshi's wallet in Bitcoin for the biggest bet on an asset class in the history of modern times. Probably since, I would guess, since the Rothschilds tried to take down the British pound during the Napoleonic Wars. It's truly remarkable. Let's see if we can get to the screen here where I've got the article. Let's get the latest ones. Here it is. I don't know if you won't be able to see this, but just the buys in the past month on BlackRock. Here, 600 BTC, 37 million. 600 BTC, 37 million. 600, 528. 300, 93, 141, 273, 182. They bought 182 BTC yesterday for $11 million. And now I know $11 million is not a lot for BlackRock. But the question is, why is this price not pumping, ladies and gentlemen, with all this buying, with Michael Saylor dumping his money into it too? Why is this not at $100,000 now? I had someone ask me that when I was talking about this prior to the show. And one of the reasons is that a lot of these are transfers from people selling out of Grayscale's BlackRock, Bitcoin ETF, which had their high fees. I don't mean in the past month, but when the ETF started a couple months back. A lot of that stuff got transferred out of Grayscale and right into low-fee BlackRock and some other places. But BlackRock obviously bought a lot of them. But now they've amassed, via their own holdings and ETFs, a $23 billion worth. And that came as a shock to me because I didn't know it was that much. Let's see. Dr. F. Toki is going nuts over here. Thank you very much for watching on X. Really appreciate it. And more of the crew is watching on YouTube. AI Wolf brings up a comment here. I'm not sure if they claim bankruptcy. What the F is going to happen? Oh, I see. Pedro, you're back. Your microphone's off. Let me know if you're on. Yeah, no, I meant I had your microphone off. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedro's back in the house. But Pedro, what I've been talking about is BlackRock is the Goliath in the industry. They've got $23 billion worth of BTC now. And 360,000 BTC. More than, I don't know, I haven't pulled the list up yet, but they're going to be at either in the second or third position there.
Next to the U.S.
I think the U.S. has been selling it off. The Democrats have been trying to undermine Trump's strategy.
Idiots.
By selling it off and taking the money and using it for the general treasury instead of returning it to the people that own the BTC.
So you're basically saying that they robbed people then?
Yes, they do, and they call it seizure.
Okay. Sometimes.
Now, obviously, a lot of it's from, like, they did return the Mt. Gox stuff. They seized the Mt. Gox BTC, but they returned that to the bankruptcy court in Japan, and all worked out just fine. Everyone got their monies back, and it worked out well. But a lot of other things they seized, like when they seized Silk Road stuff, they're like, yeah, all this stuff came from crime. We're just going to keep it. Oh, if you want to claim it, just call us and let us know that it was yours and which transaction you did, and we'll refund your money, and then we'll seize it and put you in some silver bracelets. Hey, Legend Tim is in the house. Anyone know the Bull Run Mania? If you're just tuning in a little late here, Tim, the BTC is pumping, but it's doing exactly what Pedro said for the past couple of days, and that wasn't Bull Run. That was just meeting a bunch of liquidity, places where a bunch of orders were, and if you scroll back a little bit, you'll see that Pedro's telling it to come down. And we called out Pedro once again as Pedro Damas. He called it exactly right. Gave you a good trade yesterday, said you should do this, and I did it partially. Made 2 cents instead of... let me go back. Made 0.01% instead of 6%. And so just listen to us and you'll hear more about it. But Pedro and I are both hoping for the bull run to kick right off here, but
that'd be awesome.
We're not there yet. It would be awesome, but we're not there yet.
And the primary reason why is simply because there's just so much uncertainty in relationship to crypto and the U.S. And that's really what it comes down to. Go ahead, jumping back into what you were saying, Tom, in relationship to the amount of Bitcoin that BlackRock is buying. And
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No. That's I think we have a delay. Shoot.
If you got the YouTube, you might have the YouTube feed in your ear. Instead of the studio feed. Anyway, AI Wolf, if you heard something about BlackRock filing for bankruptcy, is that who you're talking about? I think that is probably Russian troll.
Yeah, that is not
information. There's no way. I mean, they have $10 trillion in the bank and under assets. They don't have interest rate swap exposure.
Here's the thing: many of the banks have been. I have not looked at. You just got.
But they're not a bank.
No, I know they're not a bank. But give me 1 second. Okay.
Here, no, let me finish my thought on that. Is that also all that BTC that they're holding in the ETFs is held at really Coinbase is holding it in custody for them, and they don't possess any of it on their balance sheet. It's essentially bankruptcy proof that they're holding BTC on their own books for other clients that are not part of ETFs. That's different. But all the stuff in their ETFs, anything that's a SEC approved investment vehicle that they're selling to clients, like the ETFs and some other investment schemes, the BTC, I should say all digital assets currently for these types of groups have to be held off balance sheet in custody. And Fidelity's doing it, Coinbase is doing it, Caitlin Long's Custodia Bank is doing it. But really, mostly it's Coinbase. that type of stuff. Roland Rod comes to the house here. What's up, boys?
How you doing?
Just a good show today. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Alrighty.
Just so you know, we have a... where did my countdown go here?
I know, I was going to say, it kind of disappeared. I was actually noticing that.
There it is.
Hey.
The countdown to the Swamp Creature Show. For all of you tuning in a little bit later, in 36 minutes, we are going to flip over this broadcast into the DYOR Media's newest podcast called the Swamp Creature Show to DC Talking Head Wonk guys. In other words, our friends Alex and Chris. And see, Pedro, you did it again. Chris and Justin.
Why am I the blame?
You're the blame game. Put that earword in my head to call him the wrong name. It's the right name. It's just call him in the military jargon of using last names instead of first names. Anyway, we're gonna have a show at the top of the hour here that I want all of you to join in because we need that first episode to have some viewers to get that viewership. It's a recorded show. It's a premiere. It already happened and all that, but I'm gonna be there in the comments talking about it, and we can talk some smack with the guys in the ties. These guys wear ties.
They do. Dude, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, these guys are like really professional. They're wearing ties, suits. Like they are like put together. We're over here just wearing like t-shirts and hoodies.
AI Wolf, you were that was a rhetorical question that you were doing a little hypothetical thinking there. Well, that's good though. I misunderstood that. Thought you heard a rumor. But no, it's good. We should always be thinking what ifs in your investment. What if this? What if that? And have an extra plan. Oh yeah, it was supposed to be funny talking about the banks in 2000. We don't want to talk about 2008. 2008 was bad for the banking system. Ultimately, everything recovered just fine, but it put a lot of people out of their homes that shouldn't have. Actually, let me rephrase that. Put a lot of people out of their homes who shouldn't have been able to buy those homes in the first place. They should have taken another couple years saving up that deposit and renting rather than getting into a home that once the rates changed, they would be screwed.
Yeah. But also, it did generate. I knew a single mom. I'm not joking when I say this. A single mom, 2 kids. And she realized she was a little older. She had been studying finance. Then her husband left her. Long story short, she had to go to work and she struggled to get through school through finance. Well, once 2005 started happening and she realized, wait, I can quickly, through no effort of my own, buy homes. She loaded up on 27 homes. No joke. She rented those out. So she did. Listen, she filled them up, got them rented out, got them going. She lost I think 6 or 7 of them, the crash. But because everybody's were losing homes and she was able to she split them, right? Yep. And got them to kind of separate. They were able to make mortgage. Now she has 40 homes.
Oh my word.
Yeah, but she realized what was happening, and she picked up 27 homes during the craziness of everything. And then when everything dropped, she expected, and she's like, well, this can't go on forever. So, she lost a few homes. But I was like, wow, that's how she did it. I was talking to a friend of mine. He goes, yeah, that's how she did it, dude. And I was like, that is respect. So, anyways.
That's respect.
But
Roland Rod says stuff's gonna get expensive to where people won't be able to afford things. It's already like that. It's already like that, especially in housing. And we could talk about those are all economic topics that Pedro and I could go on forever. But I'll impart this little bit of advice about housing. The only reason there is unaffordable housing is because your government is restricting the supply. It's the only reason. Every other reason you can talk about, interest rates, this, that, blah, 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 blah. All of that is a secondary reason for the government not letting enough houses being built. There would be enough housing available in every price category. In affordable housing, low-end income, mansions, McMansions, super mansions, middle-class housing. There would plenty, like in Texas. Very few rules for building houses in Texas, right? Mm-hmm. Same house in Texas that's $300,000 is $3 million in Canada. That's Canadian, so $2 million in Canada. And then the reason is, in Canada, if you want to build a house, it takes you about 2 or 3 years to get it approved, and it's a big process, and even after you've built it, you still have a year of responsibilities to the city and stuff, and it's expensive. In Texas, they're like, shit's yours, man. Build the house. Here, throw some seeds in the ground and houses grow. And it's a big difference. And everything you can think of in housing, it all comes back down to supply. And if there's not enough supply, housing's going to go up. In Canada, they barely let any housing be built at all. And they took in 1 million immigrants last year. 1 million. And I don't mean like in the U.S. where they walked across the border. I mean, they say, come on into Canada and be part of our health system and our housing system. And everyone's like, well, you didn't make any new doctors and you didn't build any new homes. So where are we going to put these people? Housing prices went absolutely batshit crazy.
I mean, I guess that could be a good thing, right? I mean, that means people's homes went up in value. So when they sell,
the values of homes went up like crazy because there's, anytime someone puts their house on the market, it immediately gets cash offers. So the price went up. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, obviously, immigrants weren't buying this.
No, but the housing market just goes like this. Doot, 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 doot.
I don't disagree.
But interesting enough, well, Pedro, I guess that's half right. Because in Canada, the rules for immigrating are basically non-existent. Half all the wealthy people in China have a Canadian passport because all they need to do is sneak $1 million out of China,
right?
And then they qualify for the business investment citizenship program, which every country has. Just Canada's is very easy. Mm-hmm. And so the Chinese and other, I won't just beat on them, but other Asian countries do that in Canada a lot, and along with India. I mean, the population of Canada is 40 million people. I think 2 million of them are Indian immigrants. It's really amazing. So they do. They come over with cash and they buy houses and condos and all that. Thankfully, the government did put a little restriction on buying places that you're not a resident of. You no longer can buy like 5 homes and just sit on them because huge condo buildings were being built, prices were going up, and nobody was living there. So it didn't solve the problem. But they put a break on that. And the prices are coming down a little bit for condos, but the general housing prices, single-family homes, are going up like crazy. Absolutely. I went on long enough about that, but it burned up a whole bunch of time here.
Well,
what do you got up there on the screen there, Pedro?
So this is actually the U.S. home pricing and sales, right? Real time and total. And so one of the things I've been talking about, we keep talking about this on this show, is that we've seen some major drops from, and we're talking like 20% drop here. Now this has gone up a little, but it got all the way down to, I believe, like 401, which was over about $100,000 from the height of 2023. Okay. No, excuse me. This has not gone up. I was different. I'm sorry. This has been steadily going down, and this is new home medium sale prices. Okay. And so the new homes, people haven't been buying them because they've been overpriced, and it's harder right now because of interest rates. Or at recent, it was hard because interest rates have been up high. But it's not like interest rates have come down significantly, right? 50 basis point went from like 525. Now it's in that 475 interest rate. On the back end, that seems like, if you look at from a back point, that seems like over a period of 30 years, it's great. But on a period of like right now, my mortgage and what it's going to be like, it's not substantial difference, and so it's a difference where it's still going to be a struggle for people to buy new homes, and vice versa, also existing homes. So we're watching the prices here in America right now of medium home, new medium homes and existing medium homes do this, and it's slowly, it's those lower highs and lower lows, and then all of a sudden, when does it stop? When people finally believe that the economy here in America, and we talked about the consumer view on the economy this week. I don't know why my brain is not remembering the name of the report.
CPI or PPI?
No, it was the consumer. I'll just pull it up right here.
Consumer confidence?
Thank you. Consumer confidence, CB. Consumer confidence report. And and people, it was, people weren't bullish on the economy. People are still a bit afraid, thinking, we still need to hold our money on tight. People are still losing jobs. People are still having their hours pulled back, and people aren't getting enough hours so that can actually make ends meet. People are having to work 2 jobs and 3 jobs, hoping that they can at least work as a part-time job or with minimum wage, so that they can survive to make either the credit card payments or their mortgage or even just rent, because things are just getting a little out of hand when it comes to inflation. Even though the government says that inflation is dropping, we're seeing still across the United States, these areas in many places, big cities, inflation isn't dropping. You're still paying a high amount for consumer goods. So it's sometimes people feel like a slap in the face, right? Is this all political jargon that's being propagated to us for an election purpose, right? People are like, it's because of the elections, right? Yes, we're seeing a drop in crude oil, right? But why are we seeing a drop in crude oil? Because strategic reserve is literally still being put on the market so that they can artificially drop the market.
What?
So,
that pisses me off that we're just selling that off when they can buy cheap oil.
Well, here's the thing. As soon as November happens, we're going to see an increase. I mean, we were talking about, somebody asked me about natty gas, right? So I said we should see natty gas start to push up because we're in a we're coming into the winter time, right? And so let's pull up natty gas here because this is really interesting. Natty gas, boom. Give me one sec.
Otherwise known as natural gas futures, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That I need to remember that stuff.
Not natty beer, natural light. No.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
For those of you still watching, we got the Crypto Swamp Creature show here at 2 p.m. Tomorrow's Pedro's going to run Full Rant Friday here with us. Our attendance for Full Rant Friday hasn't been great lately, just simply because we haven't put a lot of time into marketing. We've been busy with the show. Come join us to talk for an hour about stuff. A lot of other crypto groups get lots of viewers and lots of listeners, and we expect the same because we have a great community here.
Yeah, we do. So let's look at natty gas here. Okay, you can see natty gas as what it's supposed to do. Go up in value, starting to push up, right? Now that summer is dying down, we should see the drop of oil or crude oil start to drop. But having these big drops that we're seeing and this all started happening, into August. If you see, this is the bang time when it comes to crude oil. We should see from basically the end of May right here, we should see crude oil skyrocket, right? We saw it drop, then a lower high. And then I was expecting us to come up to this level and then drop, but be more around July, August. But you can see the price because the actual volume of people dropping hasn't been really driving enough. So we're seeing, one, the strategic oil. Then on top of that, we're seeing this happening. So, it is one of those things that I feel like most people, if they knew what was actually happening, they would want to push out the current government and what they want to do. So it's a sad thing. It's a really sad thing, I think, what we're seeing here. Yeah, and it's frustrating because
I think, Pedro, I do think you're the only one that anyone here, except Legend Tim, trades oil. If any of you guys others trade to actual commodities, please let us know because we do enjoy talking about them.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be reversed of 20. I will be reversed. Reversed. What are you trying to say, Rod? I agree. It's going to get expensive to where people won't be able to afford things. Yeah, it's just there's so many things going on right now. What's up, Western or Joseph Western? Good to have you. DSB in the house. Good to have you as well, Legend Tim. We must have
Legend Tim. You're right. We must have more traders in here.
Yeah,
you know what? We don't, because there's a lot of trading shows on right before ours, and people get a little worn out by them. We're just trying to make our niche here. So if you've got another friend that's a trader, send them our show link, and you get the good stuff. We're not going to cover 50 million things except on Technical Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But we try to put some good effort into what we do. Absolutely. What we do cover. Pedro, what is going on with... Oh, I'm looking over here on this side of my screen, but I have your screen up there too, and I thought that was Bitcoin. I thought it was BTC. I'm like, God dang, that they dumped that stuff off.
Dumb.
Oh, that was crude oil.
No.
Long-term crude oil things, thinking
Yeah.
it was...
No, yeah, that's funny. That's actually hilarious.
You know what? I had someone message me behind the scenes asking about if Solana's benefiting all in this rise.
Oh, let's check out
I don't
some
know
more.
why they weren't a regular viewer, so I sent them to the show, but...
All right, so let's pop in here real quick. So we here was the area that I talked about that we could see a drop in, right? We talked about this area here. Here's another trade we talked about earlier this week, right? Of this area right here. And I said, look, we should see a sell-off. And I said, expect it to come back down to this 8-period moving average here. So you guys can see it's exactly what it did. We saw it come up. It did trigger us here. We can go into the 5-minute and look at it. Pardon me here. So this is the area. This would have been on the 25th here, or late 24th. We would have been at this level here, triggered us, right? And then again,
Triggered.
It hit it again, came back in, hit us again. So if you want to say, and I said, expect to see this come down into these lower levels here, which was the 8-period moving average. Now, the real catalyst behind this trade was really the fact that we have the 200-period moving average in this area here. Now, this was a 4-hour zone that I talked about, us hitting this. So be ready for it to go down. And so you can see how we came down. This would have been, and I talked about, as soon as we were triggered into this, we wanted to move our stop close to where all the seller wicks were stepping. And I said also, or just move it right below that 200-period moving average. So all of a sudden we decrease our risk and increase our risk to reward. So our reward would have been much higher. So from here, and I hope you guys took care. I need to get triggers on these so I get notified, so then I can create entry points for you guys. That's what I need to do. So that I can really help you guys out. Let me go into this here real quick. So that's right there. And where is it at? Boom. So this would have been the area right here. You can see. So come on. See right. So that would have been a 6-to-1 ratio there from you guys. So that would have been a good little play for you guys to be able to get a hold of Solana. Now let's talk about Solana into next week. Right now we're coming up with real good volume here, and we're pushing through this zone. So we talked about how this may act as a weak zone, but a trade that we could take. Now right up in here, I do see resistance coming in, and that is the 172.91 area. If we close above that area, give me a second. Let me put that back up. We close above this area here. Expect us to come down to 2 ways. Expect us to come down into, we'll see a sell-off from here, come back down, because again, that 200-period moving average, this has been the same area that we've been fighting with Bitcoin, right? Where we've been going up, coming up, and now we're finally starting to find support above it, or buyers above it that's going to keep pushing it up. Now, again, this all depends on volume and the amount of buyers stepping into this trade right now. Okay, we've been seeing good volume, increase in volume, the opposite of what I've been watching with Bitcoin, right? Look at this increase in volume, right? Even here, but here again, increase, down, decrease, decrease, right? So right here, this is a good sign. We're seeing increase in volume again. We can keep seeing this. I expect us to do this. Kind of pop up. Here's some zones right here. Right, we'll see this come back down, potentially stop here, or consolidate for a second and then come back down to this area right here. Boom, boom, and then pop, boom, and come up. We should see something of that nature, or one last one. Or we can see this come in, find support with big volume, and we hit this, come down, and go up. And that would be right here is what we want to be looking at. So it all depends on what's going to happen. That's similar to our trade that we saw with Bitcoin, right? I'm going to switch to Bitcoin. Tom, you want to take a screenshot of that, whatever you're doing. Boom. All right, switch. Okay. Bitcoin was similar. This is looking at right here, right? This is where we were saying there's supply or the supplier. This was red. We fought against this. On top of that, we hit that 200-day period moving average where we were playing off. And no, that was market. That's right here. So this area we came in, we're applying, boom, 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 sold off, found support right here. And right now,
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, so right now we're seeing, this is where we're at with, we're at this level. Come on. We're right here with Solana. Okay, so if you're going to see, this is what we're kind of doing right now. We want to see this thing find support on here to push up. This is Solana. Solana, this is where we're looking at, right? See how it's coming in. We want to see support follow off of this. Excuse me. This is where we want to see support come in. Where it pushes up.
Wait, do you have what do you have up now? Solana or BTC?
Yeah, no, this is Solana. Right here. Sorry about that. Yeah. So boom. Let's go, Sol. All right, yeah, baby. Always 3 possible outcomes. Yeah, I mean to say, but I'm more pushing. It all depends on what we're gonna see with right here, right? It's all dependent on the volume, and this is really important also. It's not just 3; it's really 1. But I'm not. I mean, I think I like to look to see what's happening currently in the volume, right? I'm looking at demand wicks, supply wicks. So right here, you can see that we're seeing demand wicks, demand wicks, demand wicks, demand wicks. Are we seeing supply wicks? No, we're not. We're actually expecting. So I'm expecting this to actually find support right here or right here and then continue up until we hit that set on 172 area. That's what I'm expecting. That's most likely what's going to happen at a very high level. Okay, and I mean right in this level, boom, right here, consolidate, boom, pop, and then see that on an intraday time frame. And you're like, well, how do you know we're going to climb above here? It's because you see right here, this area have already been absorbed. There's not a lot of real buyers sitting here or sellers until we get up into these levels. These are reactions of reactions. So the sellers have already been absorbed and messed with. So there's no really real sellers sitting there. So because the reactions of reactions, the first real original reaction, right, of original sellers, it sits right here at this level. So that's why I'm more confident, much more confident in the fact is that we're seeing this baby come down, pop, or pop, and then pop.
Welcome to the show, Tim Fountain. Timothy Fuentes, thanks for joining us. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it.
Timmy! It's good to see you, Tim. What's up, brother? Oh, man, we got 62 views, man. I wonder how many viewers do we actually have watching on X?
You never know until later when they aggregate it. It's the X comments or analytics are sketchy, as they say.
Well,
and it's hard because it's short. It's a lot of shorter term stuff, so it's harder.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let me go ahead and let you go here real quick because my individual that I need to work with right now is going to be working here, and so I've kind of had them hanging out here. But it was a pleasure.
A creature show in 15 minutes.
Huh? Yeah.
The Swamp Creature 12 minutes.
12 minutes, people. The debut of Crypto Swamp Creatures. Yo.
Tim says, hey, thanks for having me on. As always, an amazing show, and I just shared on X as well. Let's see. Well, we have this countdown next to me, Tim, is our countdown to our newest show, the Swamp Creature Show.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough, Pedro and I are not on this show.
Yes. We may be frequent, or we may be unfrequent if they'll probably, by listening to me like that, don't bring them on anymore.
We're premiering the Swamp Creatures crypto show based out of Washington, D.C. Two, as I call them, two talking head wonk guys. You've seen one before, Chris Alexander, who's been on this show.
Yeah.
His partner in their wonk talkland, Justin Wallen, will be on in 11 minutes and 21 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. So be here for that. I'm going to be in the comments. Pedro's going to be in the comments.
Yeah.
We need to support the guys. Even if you just, all you have to do is just leave this stream on and it'll go right into it and let it run so we get the viewers. Thank you very much. If that's not begging for engagement, then nothing is.
But also more important, I mean, they really are talking about real policies, things that you need to have the know with. I had a friend of mine who was a financial advisor who goes, he's made in the boring things. And this guy is a multi-millionaire. He's probably upwards of $200-300 million. And he's
hello, favor in the hair of Trump. Sorry to Pedro, it was a new viewer. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to have you.
Favor, did anyone ever tell you you look like Arsenio Hall from 30 years ago? I don't know if that's a compliment, so sorry about that if it's not.
I liked Arsenio, man. He was cool. He kind of, did you ever watch that one with Diddy and him and Mike Tyson? Have you seen that video resurface? Did you see that? Dude, so you have Mike Tyson and Diddy sitting next to each other, right? And then you see Diddy's hand go like this and go down on the couch. And all of a sudden, Mike Tyson looks at his hand and like all of a sudden jumps. We're talking Mike Tyson. Okay. It's not like it's like, some little boy or whatever, right? Like Mike Tyson grabs his hand, puts it on Diddy's lap, then literally goes like this, bro, and moves out of the way, throws his jacket out, and is like basically sitting on the edge of the couch, like not trying to be rude, but enough to be like, dude, don't touch me. We are not friends. We're not okay. The only reason why you sit next to me right now is literally because, we're on this show together. So I was just like, I just thought that was crazy, man. I was like,
and as the old, I can't remember the host's name from Chicago. Not David Brinkley. David Brinkley? Yeah. Or you'd say, and now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
It wasn't David Brinkley. It was Mrs. Pixel in the house. Didio. Thank you. Getting a bunch of people joining us here at the towards the end of the show. 8 minutes and 51 seconds is all you need to do to stay. You got to stay on this show, ladies and gentlemen, even if you just let it run and let this thing flip right into our new Swamp Creature show so we get the viewers right on the first day.
Man, if we can get that for them, all of a sudden YouTube will then start to push them forward. So guys, please,
it really helps the algorithm do their thing. It
really does. And then all of a sudden, then they become at the top. And one thing I've actually read, so this is actually was kind of cool. So there are some conflicting articles regarding this, but there are more of them saying that they are for than against. And this was so interesting, is that when... Dude, my hands again, bro. Like, what do I
Favor,
do
just search
dude?
DYOR Media on Twitter, on X, and you'll find our broadcast. We broadcast there every day for people that can't watch YouTube or need to put it in the background. But we want you to tune in our show later. So make sure you are here on YouTube to go to our next, our newest show, Season 1, Episode 1 on DYOR. It's actually their 4th episode because they were trying to do it themselves. But they wisely came to the home of crypto knowledge, the DYOR Media Network.
But also more important, look, if they have a big jump, also a big jump in viewership, we're at. What happens is Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but YouTube sits there and goes, oh, wow, people are starting to pay attention. They are growing. And then it starts putting them in front of other talking heads. And I think once you put these guys in front of a bunch of other people, like heads are going to turn. It's like seeing a girl who's extremely beautiful, right? You just get her out of the street, all heads are going to turn. That's these guys here. We just probably got canceled for that. Definitely. We'll probably cancel
our tag. Pedro and I have our own tags, but we're trying to move over to a more corporate type thing. At DYOR_media on X.
Definitely.
Definitely canceled.
Definitely canceled on that one. Oh, love it. Definitely canceled.
Hey, Pedro, give
Definitely
me a
canceled.
minute here. I have to go use a quick bio break, and then I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Well, I was supposed to jump off here, but hey, let's go ahead and go over ADA. Check out Cardano. So Cardano is actually hitting our supply area as we speak. Boom, you can see here, nice little kept a flip zone. And you can see here, we hit this area. We're now starting to see it drop off of here. Now, I'm almost I'm almost expecting this thing to sell off down to these lower levels here. In all honesty, I'm hoping, because I really didn't pick up enough down when it hit this area. I was hoping to pick up more right here at the 27 mark area, and it filled me up a certain amount. So the fact is that we're not seeing a lot of demand wicks, and as it was moving up, we saw more seller wicks as we're coming up. So I expect to see Cardano here, ADA, come back down here. Now, we are seeing a couple places that we could catch the pullback here. We got this area right here, and we also have this area over down in this. So will it come back down? I don't know, but I do like these areas here. Come on. So this area here, I would expect to see a nice little pull through, come back down, find support. The 50 period here, we could see some type of reactions here, but we'll see right here. I don't expect it to really stop here much. We have a potential, but we're hitting our area here. And so this is why we're here. Let's go ahead and go into this. So you can see we just came off of our zone here. So what we're going to do is make sure that our stop is up at these levels here. Okay. Or these wicks. And then what we want to sit there and see, we should see a pullback up into this level here again. So when we have the pullback, what we're looking for is a move of something of this nature here. So this is what we're looking for right here. And we're looking for it to come back down into this level right here. Would be like the first target. Second target would be up at this right here, and then I'd expect it to come down to that third target. Oh, we'll say second target right at this level here, and then third target right here is what we're looking for, is what I'd expect. And so that could be a potentially a 17-to-1 ratio here, as it pulls back off of this hour chart here, to see it pull back and then make money off of it. Sit in a nutshell there.
Hey, there's a comment up here. What about the weekly chart? Did you hit that?
Yeah. So the weekly chart.
I'm just sorry. I was just behind in the comments while I was off taking the old leak, as they say. And Alpha Wolf, you're just on it. 3 minutes and 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
So long story short, we did hit we hit that 89 here, where we hit the zone here, and we're playing off of that 120 period moving average. So I'd expect to see some play up in these levels here. I said we didn't go over all the top 10 this week. We should have. Let's realize that. Well, we have 3 minutes, and we're not going to be able to do that. But I did give you guys a nice little trade here. So it would be a good little trade for y'all. And so expect that pull back up into here, a potential sell off down to the lower levels here. I think that's about it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a pretty big nutshell today. I'm typing up here. Stick with us and watch as we raid the Crypto Swamp Creature Show. And for those of you that are not understanding what it is, it's a Washington, D.C. talk. Today their guest is Ken Cuccinelli, former Attorney General of Virginia, and ran for governor, lost by a small amount there. I posted that, didn't mean to. And he talks about the SEC, what's gone wrong, and things to fix it. It's a good show to listen to in the background if you're not really attuned to what politicians say and he's been a blockchain and crypto lawyer since then, and how they're trying to fix this in the U.S. type of stuff. So really, really a good thing. I'm gonna just put Pedro and I back on here.
Nice.
This is Pixel, the prolific poster today. I'm gonna
She
use my
is.
alliteration on that.
She's on point over here. Now, here's my question though. Have you ever seen the comedian Matt Rife?
You've mentioned it before, and I'm sure I've seen him, but I'm not putting the name to the person.
Dude, he is so funny. Like, he's like uncancelable. If ever we get canceled, I'm gonna do my best to stalk him and to get him to say, listen, we got canceled. I need you to see if we can get this thing up and running. And that would be the last thing we're gonna see. Boom, mic drop, Knuckles. Yeah, baby. You know Miss Pixels, how awesome. That dude's funny. Okay, we literally got a minute. I got to get out of here, my friend. Let's give it the closing music here, and then we can close things up here.
I'm just gonna keep talking until we get down. Oh, I'm gonna do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna raid the other channel here. Hold on 1 second here. I'm gonna wait for it to turn 154 here. Wait till I see the says it premieres in 60 seconds, so I'm gonna wait just a second here till we get the clock over to 159 and end our show here. Thank you to everybody for joining us today. Please comment in the comment section. Hopefully the Swamp Creatures will be there commenting too, but it really helped the engagement for the show. Help everything out, help us out. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You're gonna hear me bug you guys for it but supporting us like this with your eyeballs and your time is the best thing you can do. So on behalf of Pedro and my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here. We'll see you again shortly. And stay tuned for the Swamp Creatures!
There we are.